Greetings, friends. In today's video, I want to try something a little different. Instead of jumping straight into a lecture or discussion, I'd like to explore some thought-provoking questions about faith, miracles, and religious claims. To do this, I'll need help from a friend as we dive into a conversation that brings together different perspectives. I think we are coming up on her stop now.
Hi, I have a question about something that's been on my mind. If Yeshua was a Jewish man, raised with knowledge of the concept of the Messiah, circumcised, and with his mother following the required customs for a firstborn son, isn't it possible that he could have grown up believing he was the Messiah? But my question is, aside from that, how do you explain the accounts of the miracles and the miraculous things he did that were witnessed and purported by people in the area at that time?
I appreciate the question. Let me ask you this. How do you explain the miracles attributed to Joseph Smith? There were witnesses who claimed he received golden plates from an angel named Moroni. That was just in the 1800s. Yet I assume you're not a Mormon. Is that fair to ask?
I see where you're going, but with Yeshua, there are accounts of much bigger events, like raising people from the dead.
Satya Sai Baba, who lived not long ago in India, was also said to have raised the dead, healed blindness, and performed other wonders in front of thousands. Today, he has millions of followers who will attest to these miracles. Why don't you believe in him? The Catholic Church claims miracles occurred in Portugal during the early 20th century, where large crowds reportedly saw the Virgin Mary. Nearly every religion claims miraculous events. Why accept the miracles of your faith while disregarding those claimed by others? Islam, for instance, teaches that Muhammad, though illiterate, delivered the Quran. How could an uneducated man have done that? Yet, I suspect you're not compelled to convert to Islam. What's happening is that people often cling to the miracles of the religion they were raised in or chose, while dismissing the miraculous claims of others. Do you follow?
That makes sense, but doesn't the Torah also claim miracles? How do we distinguish between them if so many religions share these stories?
That's an important question. The Torah is foundational and widely regarded as a holy text, even by those outside of Judaism. This isn't because Jewish people are the most popular, far from it. But the Hebrew Bible is recognized as authentic and divine across many cultures. Other religions build on the Torah, adding layers that diverge from its original teachings. Christianity, for example, introduced the belief in a Messiah who must die and rise. Instead of comparing miracle stories, we examine what aligns with the Hebrew Bible. If something fits its framework, we accept it. If not, we reject it.
But wouldn't a Messiah performing miracles show his divinity? That seems like something only God could give someone the power to do. And isn't that why so many people believed in Jesus? Because of the miracles he performed?
I understand why that idea resonates with you. In the Hebrew Bible, though, the role of the Messiah is quite different. He's not described as a miracle worker, but as a teacher, judge, and leader who brings justice and peace. You can see this in Isaiah 2 and Isaiah 11. There's no mention of miracles in those passages. It's about moral leadership and a restored world.
I see your point, but couldn't the New Testament build on what's in the Hebrew Bible? I mean, doesn't it make sense that God would reveal more over time?
That's a valid question, and many people think of it that way. But Judaism views the Torah as complete and eternal. Deuteronomy 13 specifically warns against adding teachings that contradict the Torah. So, when the New Testament introduces ideas that are inconsistent with the Hebrew Bible, such as the Messiah needing to die for sin, it raises questions about its authenticity from a Jewish perspective.
I suppose that depends on your starting point. As a Christian, I see Jesus as fulfilling those promises in ways that go beyond what's written in the Torah.
And that's where we differ. In Judaism, we focus on what's explicitly written and try to avoid interpretations that go beyond the text. Now, consider how stories can grow over time. In ancient cultures, natural events like earthquakes or lightning were often misunderstood as divine signs. Mental illnesses were seen as demonic possession. Stories became exaggerated and took on a life of their own. For instance, look at the Gospels. Mark, the earliest Gospel, doesn't mention a virgin birth, but Matthew and Luke do. By the time John was written, Jesus is portrayed as divine. The narrative grew over time. It's like the game of telephone we played as kids. By the time a message reaches the end of the line, it can look very different from how it started.
I've heard that argument before, but I think it's different when we're talking about divine inspiration.
I understand why you feel that way. But here's something else to consider. Why do visions of the Virgin Mary seem to occur mainly in Catholic countries like Brazil or the Philippines? Why not in places like Saudi Arabia? It suggests that people often see what they're already predisposed to believe.
That's an interesting point, though I think it could also be that God appears to people where their faith is strongest.
That's a possibility, though it leaves us with the challenge of distinguishing genuine revelation from deeply held belief. Let me share one more example. In 2016, I was in Indonesia. A prominent Christian preacher there, nicknamed Peter the Great, promised to lead his followers to Jerusalem. When he passed away suddenly, some of his followers claimed to see visions of him. It's a reminder of how powerful belief can be. Ultimately, I would encourage you to revisit the Hebrew Bible and compare its teachings to what's in the New Testament. Ask yourself, do the two align? For us, the Torah stands out because it emphasizes morality, justice, and a rational understanding of God. The Messiah's role is about leadership and teaching, not miracles.
I appreciate your perspective, even though I may not agree with all of it. You've given me a lot to think about.
And I appreciate your questions. It's through respectful dialogue like this that we grow in understanding. Thank you for the conversation, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Take care.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to check out my book. You can find the link in the description below. Your support means a lot and helps me create more content like this. See you in the next one.